This is Voyager, and welcome to our ICW adventure. We left at 8 a.m. from Mosquito Lagoon at mile marker 863. The ICW gets a bit narrow through this section of Florida with regular inlets and cuts. The result is the tides are pushing you along one way and then working against you on the other side of the inlet. For most of this day's journey, we had favorable tides. In fact, it often felt like we were on an ICW sleigh ride at times. This was certainly the case as we approached New Smyrna around midday. As you can see, New Smyrna has an island separating the waterway. The charted ICW runs to the north of this island. However, we'd been advised to install aqua maps with Bob's tracks downloaded. Bob 423, as he is known, does an incredible job gathering depth data and monitoring the Army Corps survey data to create ICW tracks for you to follow. Here was a most striking example of where it was safer to deviate from the charts and proceed around the southern side of this island. Thanks, Bob. We had to run the engines in reverse to compensate for the strong current pushing us towards the New Smyrna Beach drawbridge over on the right side as we awaited its scheduled opening. Once through the drawbridge, we transited the tricky Ponce de Leon inlet area, which has some shoaling issues and an off-station buoy. Again, Bob's tracks clearly showed the proper course for rounding red marker 18A to continue on up the ICW. The water got skinny with just 1.5 feet under our keel as we rounded the corner. The most prominent feature of the area is the Ponce de Leon Inlet Lighthouse, one of the tallest lighthouses in the United States. It was completed in 1887 and its light can be seen 20 miles out to sea. As the ICW narrows in this area, it also gets more densely populated. There were beautiful waterfront homes and large condominiums along much of the way. It was around this time that the tide started to turn, and our ICW sleigh ride that we had enjoyed earlier was turning into a slog. But we were making progress, and soon approaching the heavily populated Daytona Beach area. The strong currents continuing to make bridge openings a challenge, but let's take a moment to look at some of the sights along this stretch of the ICW. As we worked our way through the series of bridges in Daytona, we first noticed our port drive seemed to be slipping when we put it into gear. Sure enough, we would come to learn that we have the well-known Yanmar SD50 cone clutch issue, a boat project for the future. North of Daytona, it started to get a little bit more wild and beautiful again. We really came to appreciate the quiet beauty of the stretches of the ICW like this. Due to a tightening ICW channel ahead resulting in fewer comfortable anchoring options, and running a little low on fuel, we decided to try and pull into our first marina. A call ahead to the Palm Coast Marina, and we were told they could put us on the fuel dock for the evening, and we said yes to their offer. Despite having some local restaurant options, we chose to eat aboard and head to bed early. We would need to take on roughly 90 gallons of fuel in the morning and push off by 8 a.m. We had covered nearly 60 miles on the day and felt great about our progress. This day's trip would be far shorter as we head for America's first city, St. Augustine, just 25 miles ahead of us. Topped off with fuel and water, and with a favorable current with us, we made our way up the ICW at a nice 6.5-knot clip. Just north of Palm Coast, it gets really remote once again. The ICW runs on the Matanzas River all the way up to St. Augustine. We would pass some beautiful salt marshes to port and the alluring white sands of the Atlantic off to starboard. We would also pass the historic Fort Matanzas National Monument and the winding Matanzas River Inlet, accessed from the north by a beautiful stretch of Florida A1A. It's definitely worth a visit on a return trip. Here are some of the landscapes we saw along this stretch. Continuing up the final few miles, the river expanded quite a bit. It was interesting passing these various inlets, as they were often characterized by a flood of clear blue tropical water, a refreshing change from the muddy brown color of most of the ICW. We rounded a couple of sweeping bends in the river as we reached our destination. We had one final bridge to pass under, the tall State Route 312 bridge, and approached historic St. Augustine to port, and the iconic Bridge of Lions drawbridge ahead of us. Funny story, most cruisers like to pick up a mooring ball in north or south mooring fields that you can see in our overhead view. We called the Marina only to find out that no moorings were available, so we figured it would be better to be north of the drawbridge in the morning, so we lined up for the next opening and headed through. Shortly after anchoring near the Spanish fort, we got a call that a mooring was indeed available in the south field. Up with the anchor and back under the bridge, and we were eventually secured by mid-afternoon. We were eager for our first dinghy ride to shore to explore St. Augustine. It was still a little early in the season for the big migration north, but the south mooring field was packed and pretty impressive. Here you can see a panorama of our view of the city. Coming into view is the Bridge of Lions with its open drawbridge. And finally, across the river is Anastasia Island with its iconic lighthouse. After tying the dinghy up, we made our way around town to take it all in. We needed to head out early in the morning, so this was just going to be a taste of what the town has to offer. It certainly didn't disappoint. St. Augustine was founded by the Spanish in 1565. It is the oldest continually inhabited European settlement in the United States. It was the capital of Spanish Florida for over 200 years. It obviously has a rich history all the way up to the present, including playing an important role in the civil rights movement. We made dinner reservations at the outstanding Michael's St. Augustine restaurant. It was outstanding. Satisfied and with the sun going down, we concluded our short adventure with a quick ride back to Voyager.